Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Concepts of Redstone, a series in which I, Opisek, take you through a wonderful world of Redstone from the very beginnings to very complex concepts. In this episode, we'll be covering the observer block. Press start. So what does this little angry face do that interests us Redstoners so much? Well, this face here detects a block update and then outputs a 1 redstone tick redstone pulse out its back. What are block updates? What do we consider a block update that an observer can detect? For example, crops growing, or a lever being pressed, or a redstone line being turned on and off. Those are all considered updates by the observer block. Back when we didn't have the observer, we used to work with giant contraptions like this one, which would do basically the exact same thing, detecting whenever a block is placed here or a block is removed. This also works with the observer, obviously. Removing or placing the block is also a block update. And this would also work with crops or redstone or whatever. You do not have to understand any of this quite yet, but this is called quasi-connectivity, and we'll be covering that after we've covered the piston and the dispenser and a few other things. But yeah, it would be the best for you if you just forgot what you've seen here. All you need to know is that the observer basically revolutionized everything, or not really everything, but it allowed us to use a single block to do what a giant contraption would do. It's not too giant, but it's still not as crazy as just one single block. And other than that, it's really great for generating one-tick pulses, which are also quite important. You will learn why in the pulses episode, after we've gone through the redstone components that can be used for signal conversion. Other ways to activate the observer is to have redstone change its state, for example by turning the lever on. Sorry, there we go. But this is not all. In the last episode, we've talked about the redstone strength. As you can see, this one has 15 because it's attached to this lever, 14, 13, 12, 11. Now, if I turn this lever on, this piece of redstone would have the power of 15. The power does not add up, it is actually 15. So the highest power that a redstone piece can have is the one that wins. So if this lever here wants this piece of redstone to have the power of 15. However, this piece of redstone wants this piece of redstone to have the power of 14. The 15 is higher than the 14, and so this piece of redstone has the strength of 15. But why does it affect our observer? Well, if this here is 15, then this is 14, 13, 12, 11. But if this here is 15, then this is 14, 13, and 12. And so this isn't 11 anymore, it's 12. When I do this, it's 13, and the observer can detect all that. Well, it can't detect anything here, because this stays 13, because it is 15. But if we do this, it detects all of it. Alright, what are some other ways of activating the observer? Opening and closing a fence gate or a door, or as already said, breaking or placing a block. And the other way, which is very, very important to us, is if an observer is moved, it also detects it as an update. You don't have to know how a piston works quite yet, however this will probably be the next episode, but for now all you need to know is that if an observer is moved, it causes an update. If we just do this and place a line like here, you can see this causes an update and this causes an update. And this is a very, very useful mechanic to us. Now, the observer does have some form of cooldown. If I do this, it looks like two updates, doesn't it? The repeater turns on, and then it turns back off. But if we look here, it's only one redstone tick. Sorry, it's only one redstone pulse. That means that the observer cannot really catch up with the speed of this update here. This changes when the repeater is set to 3 ticks or more. When I do this now, as you can see, we get 2 pulses. So to wrap things up, all that you actually need to know is that if a block update is caused on this side of the observer, the observer converts it into a 1 redstone tick, redstone pulse. However, this would be actually everything for today, since the observer really isn't that complicated if you take a closer look at it. It may be scary at first, but it's not really that terrible. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please consider clicking the like button so that more people can learn about the Observer block. And if you really love this series, then you can also subscribe so that you get notified whenever the next episode of this series comes out. But as I said, this would be everything for today. Thank you for watching and see you later.